Hi everyone, it's Olga Zarr from SEO Sly. Welcome to SEO Podcast by SEO Sly. Today I have a very special guest. This is Barry Schwartz. Barry, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think Barry is probably the only person in the SEO world who doesn't really need an introduction, I think.
I don't know about that, but you can always Google me and you can find a different Barry Schwartz, more famous Barry Schwartz named Barry Schwartz, who's actually a
Uh-huh.
professor at some university who sold a lot of books, gave a lot of Google talks, and I cannot outrank him. So if you SEOs are listening, there are
Oh,
a bunch of links to my Barry Schwartz page, and hopefully I'll outrank him one day.
okay. Okay, cool. So Barry, can you tell me what are you up to now? Like, what do you do? Like, if somehow someone doesn't know everything.
So the SEO world knows me in terms of writing a lot about what's going on with Google and search marketing. I specifically like to cover a lot of the Google algorithm updates, both confirmed and not confirmed. I cover a lot of issues that come up across Google search, Google ads, covering a lot of this stuff around the new AI stuff, around Bing Chat, Google's new search generative experience. So pretty much anything that's changed or is changing with search, which is always a constant. Google a search is always changing. So, I've been doing that for the past almost 20 years now. I think this December will be 20 years of me writing about search over the past many years, and I've probably written, I don't know, probably close to 50, maybe 40 to 50,000 different posts. Or I don't want to call them articles, but definitely posts on on search. A couple paragraphs usually, not like a tweet, but a
That's
post. Yeah. So I've written a lot, and I apologize for all the content spam and lots of content, but I like to write about what's going on in search.
yeah, that's awesome. And you have Rusty Brick, right?
Yeah. So Rusty Brick is my software development company. We build mostly software. We make most of our money building software for third-party companies. Anything from, I don't know, taxi cab software to hospital administration software to,
Hmm.
I don't know, software to make businesses more efficient or to help charities raise more money. We look at ways to make companies more efficient, and that's my other passion: is how can I make things as efficient as possible for you or me, or for a company, or for whatever. Which is why I'm able to actually write so fast and quickly. People think I don't sleep. People think I on some steroids or something, or some type of medicine to make myself work so fast. But no, it's just being really efficient. And a lot of that comes from my passion around making other people and other companies efficient through software. So I do a lot of that for third party companies, and that's where I make the bulk of my income to support my family and so forth.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually have this question on my list where I wanted to ask you some productivity efficiency tips. So it's definitely coming. Okay, so let's move back in time, those 20 years ago. So, how did that all happen? Like, why did you start writing about SEO? Why did you like start search engine Roundtable? Like, how it all came into being?
Yeah. So the story is basically, I think a lot of people who started in the early days, we were building software, websites, applications in the early days, like the late '90s, and most of that was building out websites that you had to build from hand. Were no like CMS packages back then, and we built a lot of different like websites back then. And I think a client of a client asked that person, like, how do you rank well in Alta Vista or whatever search engines were out that those days? And they said, oh, speak to Barry. So they reached out to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm not exactly sure. I think it was like late '90s. Let me do some research. And I just became like just obsessed with how search works and going to the forums and the SEO community back then, people tracking the various Google updates, people tracking the various ranking changes at the different search engines. And I took a lot of notes. I read a lot of books, actually. Well, actually, two books primarily. I think Shari Thoreau's book and also
Uh-huh.
Mike Graham's book. One was more technical, was more abstract. Um, and it was pretty simple. I'm like, oh, Google search engines crawl, index, and rank based off of content on the page and what people are saying about those pages, like links and so forth. And those fundamentals really haven't changed much. But so I basically, did that. Then I got more into the weeds. in the forums, did a presentation for that client, and just kept up with it ever since. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I did. In terms of why I started searching the Roundtable was because the forums were just full of so much knowledge, especially deep in the forums. So people would do posts in threads that were 200, 300 posts long, and nobody would see them outside of those who were all other people who were actually in the forums. And those people in the forums also didn't really see them because they didn't really read every single post. So I thought, you know what, let me highlight the posts that I thought were the most useful for me at least, and share them on a blog. And that's why I called it Search Engine Roundtable, because I wanted it to be like a roundtable of ideas from the SEO community, where I would highlight those ideas. And that changed over the years. Obviously, forums are less popular these days. You have the Webmaster World forums, you have the local search forums, but a lot of the conversation now is on Twitter and social media. So I still try to find some of the best posts and best stuff on Twitter and social media and forums, and kind of highlight that. A lot of that is from like Googlers themselves these days, because back in the early days, Google wasn't really around. I think Google Guide
Yeah.
came on board back in like 2002 or so, 2003. So we did have somebody from Google, but it was unnamed until later when we found out it was Matt Cutts. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was just basically the reason of being obsessed with it, and then giving a place for me to put my notes and to share those notes with people.
Okay, cool. And how did Search Engine Roundtable evolve over time? Did you change the design a lot? I think it has been like similar for many years. Am I correct?
It's yeah. So I've changed the design. Actually, I was first starting with a movable type platform, which was like one of the first. Like it was before WordPress. Then WordPress came
Uh-huh.
out. I did not switch to WordPress. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build the CMS, the content management system myself. So we built our own custom-made CMS. With that, I launched a design, and then I think I did one or two redesigns on that CMS since then. But I do have a new design that I actually approved internally, maybe like 4 years ago, which I still haven't programmed into the new site. So I think that new redesign that has not been implemented has to do another redesign, and hopefully I'll get it implemented. But you know what they say about shoemakers, we're constantly doing stuff for
Yeah.
clients. It's hard for me to like pull
Yeah.
off my team to like work on my own website, although it's probably the most visited website out of all my clients. Because again, it's a public website. But yeah, I think I do need a redesign. I just have to implement it. And because it's a custom CMS, it's not just like taking a theme or
Uh-huh.
customized theme and sticking it on WordPress. It's a lot of work to get it working. Although I
Yeah.
do love my CMS that I built, 15 years ago, works very, very well and does exactly what I need. But I do need a redesign. So yeah, it's been a while.
So you built the CMS yourself, so you are also a programmer, right?
My team built it. I'm pretty technical. I didn't program myself. I work with I think one or two of my developers. So I have a team of about like 15 developers at Rusty Brick.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Okay.
of them are focused on mobile, some of them are focused on, web, some of them are focused on database, APIs, whatever it might be. We built some Google Glass apps. I'm looking forward to building the new Vision Pro software.
Ah.
But we built stuff, and it's really hard for me to pull some of my team members off to like work on my own personal projects sometimes.
Yeah, I totally get it. Okay, so regarding the search engine roundtable, can you tell me like some stats, like how the traffic was like evolving, like when was the peak? Is it at its peak right now? Like how was it weathering a Google update? I remember that after one update you lost some traffic, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm at my peak or not. That's a good question. So yeah, I definitely been hit by a couple updates. I think a Panda update in the past and some other updates. Google said I should do a poll and see what my readers think. The readers were biased and they like the site. Generally, I mean, the
Mhm.
site ranks pretry well. Generally, I mean, it doesn't rank as well as Search Engine Land, which I also write at. Doesn't rank
Yeah.
as some other sites, but Search Engine Land is a much bigger site. I'm the only one who really writes at Search Engine Roundtable. It's just me. There are some like one or two posts every year by somebody else. Like Glenn Gabe sometimes posts randomly and so forth. But generally, it's like 99.9% of the stuff is just me. Search Engine Land is a much bigger site with a lot more writers. And those sites tend to get more traffic because it's just a lot more content, more diverse, and there's editing processes and stuff. Search Engine Roundtable does get a tremendous amount of traffic. It does. It did grow over the years. There are times where it dipped. There are Google updates that impact it here and there. But overall, I think it's doing pretty well ranking wise. I don't really look at the tools or I do look at the analytics. I look at it daily, usually the real-time analytics, to see what stories are spiking, just because I want to make sure the stories that are getting read by a lot of people don't have too many typos. So I will go back. Usually I write it, hit publish, don't look back.
Oh.
I never like edit those posts on Search Engine Roundtable. But if somebody's getting a lot of traffic, I might go back to it, make sure actually it reads right, because sometimes I'll be on a phone call while I'm typing, and some of my phone call conversation gets into my post, which is not a good way of writing stuff for people.
Oh.
But yeah, it takes time, and I think I think this site has grown over the years. Is it growing year to year? It depends. Like some years it will grow 5-10%. Some years it will go down because of a Google update. Some years it will go back up 5-10%. So I think it's pretty much flat. I guess it plateaued at this point.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
have you been doing anything in response to, for example, drops after Google Core updates?
No, I just write what I think people want to read, what I want to write. I do change because I personally like to change. I personally love change. So I like, for example, Midjourney and AI images. I'm really
Yeah,
loving using
noticed. Yeah.
AI images, because you can't get like a story of a robot indexing a page, like maybe holding a notebook and flipping through a notebook there's no like stock images for that. So you can make anything using Midjourney, and I've been having fun with it. I don't think it impacts my rankings at all. I just think it makes some people smile when they're reading the story, maybe. But I don't think it has impacted any click-through rates from any stories, anything with Discover. I don't think it has impacted my clicks from Twitter or Facebook. It's just an image, and I just personally like doing it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't focus too much on rankings or traffic, although I really should. But I just it's a hobby. The writing stuff is more of a hobby than it is a business. So honestly, if I
Uh-huh.
had no advertisers, we have an advertiser now, but if I had no advertisers, I'd still do it, and I've done it for years
Oh.
without advertisers. So.
So do you have a lot of, for example, traffic from Google Discover? Is this like an important source for you?
I could check
Just
Google
curious.
Search Console. Google Discover sends about right now in terms of this date range. The overview page shows me 36% of my
Uh-huh.
performance data.
Yeah,
So I
that's
guess it's
something.
significant.
And regarding SEO, have you been ever SEOing, Search Engine Roundtable, or just writing?
That's a good question. I mean, I cover SEO for so long. The way I think is to
It's
write in a way that people would search for it. So in the early days of
okay.
writing, people would use these abstract titles, like not put words into a header tag or a title tag of what the person's actually going to read. It was like more abstract titles of like, I don't know, artsy stuff. I'm like, why would you do that? Write what people want to, write in the title what people are going to read. Some
Yeah.
people use like clickbaity stuff, like the Google added these 3 new things that are going to change your life. I never write like that, because I'm like, I would write Google add X, whatever they added, I would put in the title. Google added this, this, and this, as opposed to
Yeah.
writing 3 new things, which generate less clicks. But I don't want to have people have to click if they don't have to. Again, it's all this about this efficiency stuff. Why require somebody to click if they get everything they need from a tweet, or they get everything they need from the headline? So
Yeah.
although you can't always get everything perfect in a headline, some people call me out for being clickbaity when I didn't mean to be.
I
But
don't think so.
um, I've
Yeah.
been called out for lots of things over the years. It's okay.
Oh.
But yeah, so when you write 40,000 plus articles, sometimes you're not perfect every single time. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I think by nature I write in an SEO friendly way, just because I understand how it works. And also, yeah, I've used all the markups over the history. I have some old authorship art markup on there. I have some old legacy stuff that Google has beta
Google
over the
Plus
years. Just
authorship. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, so even older stuff, like well before that, there was some like really weird. Before it was called schema or structured data, really weird stuff. So if you look at the code, you might see some really weird stuff there, which is all part of the redesign and cleaning all that stuff up one day. But there's a lot of legacy stuff on that site that needs to be cleaned up. And most of the reason I've done those things is because Google announces something. I want to test it, be the first to try it out. So I was like the first one to move from HTTP to HTTPS, just to see how Google will
Oh.
handle the indexing. You can see the spike of the Google Search Console profile being indexed less on the HTTP, and at the same time the new profile on HTTPS. So I love to like be the first to try things, because people are afraid to try it on their own websites because it makes them money. So I'm like, I'll try it. So I was like one of the first people to use Speakable markup back when Google Assistant was big. So I do like to try
Oh.
stuff because I love the change. I love trying things and so forth.
Yeah, cool. And regarding indexability, do you like keep all those 40,000 articles indexed? Are they indexed or do you like remove them because they're so old?
I've only removed one article using a
Oh,
robot.txt file ever. So no, I don't remove
oh,
any old articles.
uh-huh. And just out of curiosity, those like 15-year-old articles, are they still bringing you traffic?
Probably not, but at some point, I sometimes go back to stuff like
Uh-huh.
Yahoo is supposedly coming back with their own search engine. I'm not going to go ahead and
Yeah.
remove all those Yahoo stories. I mean, for years, for past 5 years, so Yahoo was dead. But they might
Uh-huh.
come back, so now it'd be great to go back. Like just recently in Pub Center, Microsoft seems to be revitalizing their something called Pub Center, which was originally called Microsoft Content Ads, which was
Uh,
basically a version of AdSense from Microsoft, which originally was actually from Yahoo Publisher Network. So I have all those old stories from like 2007, 2005, whatever, that I now link back to because Pub Center is something that's coming back.
yeah.
So getting rid of that history, I think, although it's not useful today, it might be useful in 2, 3, 10 years from now.
Okay, so let's talk about writing articles. So, how many posts, articles per day do you write, and how long does it take you to write one or all of them?
Yeah, so I probably write about anywhere from like 6, 7 articles
Oh,
to 10, 12 articles, like somewhere in like the 6 to 12 article range per day. Usually an article takes me about less than 10 minutes to write.
oh, so you are
And these are
probably,
not like you write long articles. I write, 2, 3, 4 paragraph articles, nothing big.
uh-huh, yeah, and
This is what changed. This is what happened. No real opinion. Just this is what you should be on the lookout for.
what is,
Sometimes I'll write a really long piece, like if I think it's important, but generally um, I write fast and short.
yeah, but I still think you're probably faster than if someone was to write this with ChatGPT. And
Yeah,
talking about ChatGPT or similar tools, do you plan on using them to enhance your writing or to maybe speed it up even further, or you simply write everything like with your own
I,
hands?
I write everything in my hands. I did try it a bunch of times, and I still try it. It just doesn't sound the way I write, so I just put it
Uh-huh.
back. I don't like the way it comes out. People like to read my stuff without having my name on it, and they know I wrote it. And I want people to know it's my tone. It's the way I write. I seem like ChatGPT kind of fluffs stuff up, adds some
Yeah.
words that are not necessary. And again, I really like to write short. I like to not use unnecessary words because people have their time is valuable, and I think I don't want to take up more time from their whatever slot, 8 hour day or 12 hour day, whatever, however they work, just by adding fluffy words just to make it rank better or sound better. So no, my articles, ChatGPT tends to fluff stuff up and add
Yeah.
unnecessary words, and I don't like that, so I don't use it.
Yeah, sure. And can you share how you monetize SEO Roundtable, a search engine roundtable?
Yeah, so the vast majority of the advertising is handled by a company called Third Door Media, which owns Search Engine Land and XMX. So I said, here you go. You could go ahead and monetize it. I don't want to be involved in who you pick for advertisers and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I try to not have any people who are paying money to the website have any influence on what I write. Um, in fact, I've had some advertisers that I think I've written negatively about before in the past. Like if something comes up in the SEO community that's bad, no, just because they
Uh-huh.
pay me money, I'm not going to go ahead and um, you know have that influence how I write. So yeah, I mean,
Uh,
there's that. I also have some YouTube. I do some YouTube stuff, which I think you watch.
Yeah, I
And
do.
those I handled those ads myself. So I think like Wix and
Yeah,
SE
yeah, yeah.
Ranking and um, Bruce
Bruce
Clay and a bunch
Clay,
of other,
yeah. Yeah. Duda,
yeah,
I
a bunch of
think there
companies
was
actually
as
sponsor
well.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next thing I just wanted to ask about YouTube. So how long does it take you to create such a video? I've been trying to do those weekly news, but it's taking me so much time, and I keep trying, and I never stick to this weekly kind of
Yeah,
schedule. How do you do that?
it's basically just a summary of what I've written for the week, so it's not so bad. It takes me about anywhere from 9 to 12 minutes usually to record it. Setup is just putting up a light. So maybe 2 minutes to set up, 10 minutes of approximately of recording. And then the editing takes me about, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes. I
And
do usually do them.
you edit that yourself?
Yeah, I edit myself. It usually is pretty quick. It's just me watching stuff, and maybe if I cough, I'll cut it out. I'm usually a one take type of person, so it's usually not much editing, and I really do it fast. So I could have a video recorded and uploaded and live usually within 30 to 40 minutes. Although
Wow.
YouTube sometimes takes a while to process it
Yeah.
to make it HD quality. But usually I'll post it before it's HD quality anyway.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, very fast. Okay, so talking about being fast and efficiency, can you like share maybe some of your techniques, some of the things you did so that you became so efficient, how other SEOs can become at least a bit efficient as you? Because for me this is a
Right.
problem. Like for me it is like the entire day to write the newsletter and record the video for the newsletter, and for you it will be probably an hour, right?
Right, but I also write daily, so it's different. I
Yeah.
remember, so it's like I'm just taking stuff I've written before. So usually
Yeah.
my writing is about, I don't know, I spend maybe an hour or so writing a day. Usually I do that, I don't know, between 6 and 7 a.m. The
Mm-hmm.
rest are just usually mostly scheduled stuff. So it's a routine. I think the most important thing is to have a consistent routine when you do something. Don't like say I'll do it another day. Don't say you'll do it another time. Put on your calendar, whatever you need to do, to say I'm doing this routine either daily or weekly, and don't miss that routine. If you have a routine, I think becoming more efficient over time with that routine will make it easier. There are ways to speed stuff up with that routine, and a lot of that has to do with looking at your workflow. So I don't know what the listeners' workflows are, but if you have a certain workflow and you know you can make it a little bit more efficient by maybe removing email subscriptions and signing up to their RSS feed alternative, or maybe you have set up some type of alerts, so using Google Alerts to notify you if something happens, or maybe some type of triggers using some, I don't know, CMS tools or um, CRM tools to make things a little bit more efficient. It depends on what your workflow is right now, what you're using, but there's definitely ways to look at what you're doing and saying, how can I save time with subtasks or whatever it might be. It's hard to say in abstract or what to do specifically, but I don't. I have
Uh-huh.
very few email subscriptions. I use Feedly for almost everything. I'm also a big RSS person. I
Yeah, me
do a lot
too.
of scheduled tweets. I have a lot of columns and TweetDeck for tracking certain types of people. I have a lot of actually bookmarks that I have automatically checked using tools to see if the pages have changed over the day or year or
Uh-huh.
months or whatever, however frequency I check it. So there's a lot of different tools that I use to kind of make it a little bit faster. But I think the number one thing is the consistency. Every single day or every single week, do the same thing in a certain way, and you'll find ways to tweak out a little bit of a performance boost out of those types of processes.
Okay, and have you ever taken like a break, like for a week or for 5 days, for 2 weeks during those 20 years?
I don't. So I do take off for Jewish
Yeah, yeah,
holidays,
yeah,
which
sure.
means I'm completely offline. Sometimes that could take 3 days. So sometimes it's like a 3 day, and that drives me insane because I don't know what's going on for 3 days. But when I go on vacation or family vacations or whatever it means, if as long as I don't like religiously have to be offline because I don't want to be
Mhm.
struck by lightning, um, then I usually just continue the routine. My routine is early in the morning, so the kids are sleeping, the wife's sleeping. I'm doing my routine early in the morning, and then when I wake up, I'm already pretty much done with the routine. Then I'll have my phone; I can just keep track of stuff. So I do check RSS feeds on the go. I do check email. I do in addition to my other work, I'm constantly doing that as well. So I feel like falling behind is one of the worst things for me because then it just piles on. There's nothing like getting back online after a Jewish holiday and having 4,000 emails and 10,000 RSS feeds that are unread. I spend literally after a Jewish holiday maybe like 4 or 5 hours just trying to catch up at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so it's
reading?
not yeah.
Yeah, and how much of this time every day can you say it is reading, like following what's happening now on a normal day?
That's a good question. So maybe like an hour of writing and maybe an
Hmm.
hour or to reading. I read fast,
Uh,
so I don't know if I don't really track my reading. But I know how
uh-huh.
long it takes for me to write a post. So it's usually somewhere between
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes to write a post. The reading is probably faster. I don't know, maybe an hour.
Uh-huh. Sure. Okay, and in addition to search engine Roundtable, do you have other websites? Because I remember you started some website, I think last year. It was about cars, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. Yeah. Do you have like
yeah.
other similar projects which you maybe SEO?
So that's search engine land is I'm like the main. I've been there
Mm-hmm.
since it started. So search engine land is when Danny Sullivan started it. I was actually with him at Search Engine Watch before that, SES and XMX. So yeah, that's another thing that I do, and I write about. I write there at least a couple times a day. And then yeah, that other site, the car site, I no longer do because the community was just it was just a stock. I wanted to cover the car because I thought the car was really really cool. But then there's a whole stock community behind it, like the investment community behind it, and they're
Uh-huh.
like cutthroat. If I write anything positive, neutral, or negative about an issue with a car, like a car owner had an issue with the car, maybe it stalled or something, I thought it was cool, or the car caught on fire because it fell off a truck. I would cover that because I think it's cool. But then the stock community would be like, "Oh, you're trying to kill the stock and trying to like make pump the stock. You're trying to do this for the stock." I'm like, forget it. I'm done. I just had enough of it. Um, so I moved away from that. I'll put my efforts towards the search community instead. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
Search Engine Land and Search Engine Roundtable, and then of course my company Rusty Brick.
And can you share more about what you specifically do at Rusty Brick? So, like more details than you said in the beginning.
Yeah, so my personal job is to obviously get more business, to deal with clients high level. I make sure the projects are it's a higher level thing. So I'm the owner of the company, so I make sure the programmers are doing what they need to do. I make sure that we're meeting our deadlines. I help handle the billing, make sure clients are happy, and get new business. So all that type of stuff, client meetings, multiple calls a day with clients and with our employees to make sure everything is going well. Handle all the payroll stuff, the HR stuff. It's like any small business owner who has a 10, 15 person employees that what they have to
Uh-huh.
do with legal issues, potential payroll issues, tax issues, not issues, but like the day-to-day stuff around that type of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
just taking out the trash in the office. So we have I'm actually working from home today, but usually I'm in my office, which is why it doesn't look like my video today.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
in the background.
I wanted to ask you about your office. I wanted to ask about the story behind those boxes from, I think, Apple stuff, right? So, do you like collect them? Can you share more about this?
So I like new stuff constantly. So I'm usually the first person to get the new iPhone or
Uh huh.
hopefully the new Apple Vision
Yeah,
Pro
yeah.
stuff, whatever they are. So I like getting this stuff. I buy them and then I keep the box behind me. Um, So yeah, the boxes behind me are just stuff I purchased over the years, or maybe purchased for employees over the past years, and I kept a box because boxes are. Remember Mac cuts in the early days when Google would be like, it's not just about how you write your content, but think about it in terms of how Apple packages their products. It's
Uh
not just about
huh.
the product itself, but it's how it's packaged. So it's true; those boxes are pretty cool. So I have a bunch of Google boxes, Apple boxes, and other geeky stuff. Some of the stuff I use, some of the stuff I stopped using. Um, and that's the story behind those boxes. Yeah. So, and then I have my office, which I go to every single day, but today I just not able to get there today. I mean, actually, the internet was out this morning there, so I stayed home and then it went back on. So that office fits about, I don't know, 30 people, and I'm like the only one who shows up there anymore. Everybody works remotely still since COVID,
Okay.
and the lease is up in about a year from now. So I'm looking forward to getting rid of that office and getting a smaller space
Uh
at some
huh.
point.
Uh huh. Okay. And can you estimate how many hours per week do you work?
Good question. It's usually around 5:30 a.m. till about, I don't know. There's some breaks in the day. I come home, I eat dinner and stuff with the kids, see the kids. Probably at least, I don't know, over 12 hours a day. Um,
Oh, okay. And that's every day except for Saturday.
yeah, Saturday, Sunday's slower, so not
Uh
so much
huh.
on Sundays. So
Okay.
not including weekends. So Saturdays, usually about an hour or two on Saturdays, and then Sundays maybe 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah, but still, that's a lot.
I mean, I don't consider this the search stuff is not really work. It's like a hobby. So whatever
Uh-huh.
somebody might do on the weekend, somebody likes going hiking, somebody likes going fishing. I
Yeah.
like writing about search. So
Yeah, cool. Cool. So let's talk maybe a bit about SGE. Like, what are your thoughts based on what you have already seen in the US? You have access to it already. I don't. I have to use a VPN. But what do you think about it as of now?
So as of now, when it first launched, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought, oh, it's not so bad in terms of the links. They have these big cards there. But as I use it more and more, a lot of the content probably like the content that it generates should be linked. Like if it's talking about a specific type of company, like it's talking about, I don't know, Apple,
Uh-huh.
and maybe a list like what are the big cell phone manufacturers? Apple, Samsung, Google, whatever. Link to Apple, link to Google. Like otherwise, you have to do a cert to find it, and all it does is actually link to like review websites that then maybe or may not link to those companies. So it's kind of like dumb in that way. So I
Mm-hmm.
think they should probably increase the amount of links they have in the generative answers. Um, and I don't know. I don't see people using it that much for search. I mean, maybe they want to have conversations with it, but that's more of a Bard or ChatGPT or Bing Chat interface, and less of a search in Google. I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned. I just don't see people using it that much to get answers for their search queries. But I guess it's
Yeah.
going to change a lot. It's so super early. I hate like people like this is the ultimate guide for Google search generative experience.
Yeah.
It's literally changing every like hour. Like somebody's like, oh, I didn't get an AI answer for this query, or I did get the same exact queries change in terms of if answers are provided, how those answers look. Is it a blue background? Is it a pink background? So all these things are constantly changing, which is great. But I don't know if we should say, this is good or bad until actual search consumers have access to it until it goes onto google.com, I think.
Yeah. I'm also like, I don't really know what to think about this, but I don't think it is there where we want it to be in terms of like being helpful, usable. And Google Bard, Bing Chat, and ChatGPT, which of these do you like the most?
I think Bing Chat is so far the
Uh-huh.
the most like I think it's the most useful right now. The links and citations, how it's updated, like how fast it gets updated in terms of answers. I find that to be the most useful out of all of them in terms of for how I use it. I know a lot of people love ChatGPT, but I think Bing Chat is doing a really good job. The interface could be better, but I think Bing
Uh-huh.
Chat is so far right now like light years ahead of everything else.
Yeah. And so AI, what's happening now is kind of a revolution, something like that. So can you tell me what were other equally significant changes you have seen over the course of 20 years, which you can say were as important, as big as what's happening now?
Yeah, I don't think anything was as big as this, except for the introduction of search in general. But that was prior to that was like Google, 1990,
Uh-huh.
1997, 98.
Oh,
So the biggest thing since this, maybe, but not even as close to the big, is probably the launch of universal search in Google, which I think was
yeah.
in like 2006 or so, where
Yeah.
Google, instead of just having 10 blue links, it was just basically 10 blue links in the old days. They would actually include videos, images, local packs, other vertical searches in the actual search results. So if you do a search for, I don't know, uh, pizza shops in the old days, it would just be hyperlinks to websites
Yeah.
about pizza shops. Now they have a local pack. Maybe they have recipe results. So everything is much more universally blended in the search results. I think that was probably the biggest user interface change since the Google search generative experience. And then obviously since then we've had other changes to search like feature snippets, which SEOs went nuts about. Um, and so I think those are probably like the two big user interface changes since in the past 20 years, universal search and feature snippets. I think off the top of my head, probably missing something. So
Yeah. And now we have 3 featured snippets. I read that on your, I think, on your blog today, on your website. And we have those kind of featured snippets in SGE. So this is like, I would say, transformational. I don't know how to even describe that. Another question I have for you. So we are talking about AI. What are your thoughts about the future of SEO? Once
Good
we
question.
see what's happening, what do you predict in 5 years from now?
So the question is like, will AI, well, there's two questions, in terms of content development, how will Google see that and rank that in the future if it's written by AI? And the second question is, will SEO's jobs change because of AI? I think the second question is easier to answer, meaning I think SEO's jobs will change. I think a lot of the kind of stuff that could be automated, or a lot of the stuff that might be, I don't know, give me ideas around title tags or keywords for
Yeah.
this type of stuff, would be very, very easily done by AI. A lot of programming tasks could be supplemented and helped through AI. So I think SEO's jobs will 1000% change. I think SEOs will still be there because you need, just like like teachers' jobs will change, and
Yeah.
lawyers and accountants, everything's changing with AI. So that's definitely coming. How much time do we have? I don't know. I don't know. By the time this video is out, it might be, your job might be gone. I'm just joking. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Uh-huh.
And then
Uh-huh.
in terms of how Google sees content written by AI, I was
Yeah.
absolutely shocked that Google's like, hey, AI content, we're fine with AI content as long as it meets our, criteria of being helpful and good for users and so forth. If AI can write great content, we're happy with it. I'm like, okay, fine, that makes sense. And AI is just going to get better and better at writing content. And I think ultimately, I don't know, it's going to be so much content for Google to rank. How's it going to pick out which content it wants to rank if all the content's on the same level of quality, or whatever you want to call it? So we have this whole EEAT stuff. Are those are going to change? Are you going to want something that has? Are you going to have to go ahead and document this is written by AI? So Google's like,
Yeah.
no, you don't really have to document it. It's good to know who it is. So maybe make a note that this was helped by AI, but there's no specific guideline for that right now. In addition, I know the EU came out saying they want to require people to document if they wrote something using AI or used AI to write something. And I know Google's coming out, or has come out with meta data around documenting if an image was created by AI. And I think the issue with images created with AI is more about like, is this image fake? Did Biden really hug Trump, or stuff like
Uh-huh.
that? You can make stuff
Uh-huh.
up with images. And that's pretty concerning, or video. And I think that's the concerning part in terms of AI content. And our SEO is going to have to change their game about how they write content. Yeah, I think they should probably look at how AI can make their content better, and more relevant to the user. But at the same time, they really need to add that human factor to their content,
Yeah.
or else it might not rank as well. But again, the whole Google announcement kind of shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, because like before they even had this in their guidelines that automatically generated content is not okay, and then it turns out it is okay, but we have to have this human EEAT kind of element on it.
Right. And I guess it makes sense that they said it's okay because they're doing their own AI generated content right in the search
Yeah,
results. So
like because soon everything will be AI generated, so they would have to like punish almost every website. So that
right,
that would probably be difficult to do as well.
right.
Okay, so one of the final questions: what do you think is the biggest misconception that about SEO that you would like to debunk today?
Yeah, I'm not going to go with the typical ones, I guess, like duplicate
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
content or that. I think the biggest issue I have with SEO these days is just using a checklist and saying, Google said this, I need to do it this way because Google said that. One of the things around syndicated content and canonicals. And it's like, there's so many examples of this stuff. Like, you need to think beyond those simple best practices and beyond the checklist and say, why is this? Why is Google saying this? So why is Google saying you don't need to use a canonical anymore for syndicated content? well, does that mean I could go ahead and take content from here and just put it over here and not worry about it? Am I going to rank well? No, Google's going to rank one of those pieces of content because Google only wants one of those pieces of content in their search index. They don't want to have two of the same exact pieces of content. So just because Google doesn't require you to use the canonical tab for syndicated content anymore, it doesn't mean it's going to go ahead and rank well. And I think SEOs are just too bogged down in like looking at specific checkpoints and saying, okay, this is not something that I need to do, or this is something that I do need to do, and thinking everything's going to be okay if I don't do something that I shouldn't be doing, or that I should
Yeah.
do something that I am doing. It doesn't work that way. And I think it's really more about how can I really, Google's been saying this forever and everybody rolls their eyes. How can I make the best website, the best content that satisfies my users, that people want to come back to? I always tell people, you should make a website or a piece of content that Google would be embarrassed not to rank well in their
Yeah.
search results. And then somebody at Google will tell an engineer and say, you know what, why is this content not ranking? It should. And they'll adjust their algorithms and fix things on their end. But ultimately, I think SEOs get way too bogged down by checklists and specific, check this off and I'm good. It doesn't work that way, especially not these days.
Yeah, without like applying some critical mindset to what they're reading.
Right.
Okay, so can you tell me who do you think we should be following in SEO? Of course, in addition to you.
Yeah, Olga, definitely follow.
Thanks.
I hate to point out specific people. I mean, there's so many people doing such amazing stuff. And what I do try to do in my daily newsletter, the Search Engine Roundtable newsletter, is highlight all the content and all the best tweets and all the best articles written by tons of search marketers across paid and search. So I literally probably put in about, I don't know, anywhere from like 20 to 60 links per day. And if you want to know who to follow, I guess get that newsletter. You don't even have to subscribe. Just go to Search Engine Roundtable. I publish it there too. And just look at the links there and then maybe subscribe to those people's sites or those people on Twitter. Because I really tried to highlight. I'm sure I miss 90% of the stuff out there, but I try to include as whatever I do find and include there. So I'm not going to call anybody specifically out, but definitely look at what I'm sharing. And I do share a lot of what the community is saying.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing my stuff as well. I've noticed you do that. So that's cool.
Hopefully, I'm sure I missed a bunch, so I apologize, but I try to share it again.
And I always share your stuff because like I wouldn't be able to write a decent episode of my newsletter without like referencing your website. So that's
I
kind of
appreciate that. Thank you.
That's kind of basic for me and I guess for everyone. And maybe the last thing, what tips would you share for someone who is just starting in SEO and what should they do? They start right now, AI, everything is like the revolution is right here. What would you recommend for such a person?
Don't do it. I'm sure. I don't know. It's changing so fast. Like everybody thought like white collar jobs are safe, lawyers, content writers, stuff like that. And now it's like the safe jobs are more the blue collar work. You have to be a plumber, electrician.
Yeah.
The most important thing is don't get into it for the money. Don't get into it because you need a job. Do it because whatever you're doing, do it because you have a passion. The real ones that will succeed beyond the AI revolution and taking people's jobs are those that are better than the average person. And the only person that are better than the average person are those that really absolutely love what they do. Create newsletters, create podcasts. You're doing this because it's not just a job. You love it. You're not having an interview with me because, you just want to make a buck on this interview. You're doing it because you love the topic.
Totally.
And I think that's the only way to approach something like this, especially now with this AI stuff. And if AI can replace you, which they can replace a lot of stuff, the only way to stand above and beyond is to be one step ahead of that. And the only way to do that is to have a passion. I think to be passionate about what you do.
Yeah, totally. I couldn't agree more. Okay, Barry, so what's the best place to kind of follow you? Of course, Search Engine Roundtable. Are you also active on Twitter, LinkedIn? What's the best place?
Yeah, I'm super active on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, on Twitter at Rusty Brick, the handle below. I'm also active on LinkedIn, but I correspond more on Twitter. I find Twitter to be I don't know. I love Twitter, SEO Twitter. I know there's a lot of politics and stuff like that, but I don't see Twitter. I'm just like focused in on the SEO world on Twitter, so I don't really see much outside of that. So I say Twitter. I post stuff on LinkedIn, Facebook. Mastodon, Blue Sky, you
Oh,
name it, I'm on everything. But I'm much more engaged on Twitter.
yeah, me too. Okay, Barry. So thanks a lot for spending this time with me and agreeing to come to my podcast. This is like a huge milestone for me to have you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You
Yeah,
do great work. Keep it up. And I love watching this stuff. So keep up the good work and writing those newsletters.
thank you. I'm doing my best. Okay, so thank you, Barry, and thanks everyone. Bye bye.